Hello everyone, and welcome back to Torchlight Infinite. So, after a long break, we're back with some content in the game. So, we're getting the launch on May the 5th, the final actual release of the game, not the beta. And there are some very exciting things coming. So, we're gonna take a look at the global launch reveal trailer, analyze a little bit on what is going to be the new mechanic and all the new stuff that's going to be added. So let's get into it. So the actual
It's been a long time coming. Just
there was an interview with creative director David Brevik, which for those who don't know who David Brevik is, he's basically the guy that was behind the Diablo 2. So he's one of the biggest names in the ARPG community. So he's being kind of giving them advice. I forgot what the name of that position is, but basically he's kind of an executive consultant, a consultant for the game. So he's being involved with it. So you might see some of his influence in what the game is currently becoming. We're gonna take a look at the trailer for the Cube of Rapacity gameplay. So this mechanic looks very similar to the Pirates of the Void Sea mechanic, where what you do is kill stuff.
Hey everyone, it's Ian here from the operations crew. You must know by now that our new season's theme, we've introduced a new talent agreed by the Cube of Rapacity.
Okay, so as you can see here, right, you're killing stuff, you're dropping these little balls, which are currency. I don't know if every monster on the map will have it, or most of them will, but similar to the Pirates of the Void Sea stuff, when you leave the map, you leave inside the map whatever you gathered for the monster, so you have to spend it within the map.
Defeat these unique mobs, you will receive a Desire Crystal.
Yeah, this one, Desire Crystal.
An item exclusive to that map and can be taken out of the map. Once you've taken down the stage boss,
so once you kill the boss,
Rapacity will make its appearance. Offer it a specific.
So what we can see here is so this item is new. This seems new as well, and this seems new. We're gonna get into it a little bit, and this is currency, and this is a cube. This cube seems to contain additional
number
stuff.
Of Desire Crystals to receive random rewards, but beware, don't get carried away by greed.
So it's kind of like a bingo, right? You spend your currency to roll on whatever is in the quadricle, in the slate, and you might gain any of this. You will not get all of them.
Desire Crystals to receive random rewards.
See,
but beware,
it's kind of a
don't
random
get
draw.
Carried away by greed, or you might anger the cube.
So let's see what it says here.
Rewards. But beware, don't get carried away.
If you receive rewards, open new levels, or fail greedy, the Rubik Cube will disintegrate. After disintegrated, the Rubik Cubes cannot be opened again, and the unclaimed rewards will disappear.
By greed.
Okay.
Or you might anger the cube and lose all the rewards you've collected so far. The Cube of Rapacity will also attract unique and powerful bosses and special monsters in each stage, which will introduce new challenges and greater rewards in the stage clearing experience. We've introduced a new talent.
So basically, whenever you're gambling, there is a chance that you will kind of do a double or nothing, where you might end up not getting a lot out of it.
Called Average Code.
But you might end up getting
gameplay
actually
that lets
a
you
lot.
order the rewards or challenges.
So let's see this. Coveteen has 10% cancellation on Fuel Amber.
Presented by the Cube of Rapacity. This means
So
you
yeah,
can
everyone is gonna
totally
get probably embers, probably fuel here, as we did with the parts of the way. So let's see. We'll have to figure out this later on, how good it will be to try to aim for stuff other than fuel, because it's one of the things that I didn't love about the past season is that attempting to go for the hero memories and hero relics was very much like 99% of the time you end up with nothing. Whereas if you went with fuel, at least, yeah, you either get 5 or 10, or you might end up with 20, 30 from a single encounter. So it was always better to go for fuel regardless.
different season talent strategies at a very small cost.
There's a chance from. So we'll have to see
Of
later
course,
what
there's much
all
more
of
to the
these
season
means.
exclusive gameplay than just this. When you draw rewards from the Cube of Rapacity, you might also get a Cube of Craving stat, which is packed with even rarer and more valuable prizes. Additionally, the Cube of Rapacity drops a unique item known as Desired Beads. Desired Beads represent the physical embodiment of Cube of Rapacity's sway over human desires. Black market merchants are more than happy to trade their most
So this
precious
is.
wares.
I see this as kind of a pity system, and I think it's very nice that even if after you gamble, or you might end up trying to go for this instead of gambling on the other items, and get guaranteed rewards that way, or maybe it's something that you get extra as you're trying to gamble for other stuff.
For those coveted items. The special monsters I mentioned earlier will also drop an item known as
Of course,
Desired
we
Core.
also get a
Desired
new
Cores
boss fight,
serve as tokens to challenge new supreme boss called Lord Bearer. As the supreme judge of the High Court of
which
Desire,
looks.
this formidable enemy presents a tougher challenge for hunters than ever before.
Okay, so it seems.
Desire Cores serve as tokens to challenge
It
new
seems it's
supreme
gonna
boss
function
called
similar
Lord
to
Bearer.
Keegan
As the
and the
supreme
Void
judge of
Pirate,
the High
where
Court of Desire,
you have
this
more
formidable enemy
invitations
presents
to
a
add
tougher challenge
higher
for hunters than ever
level of
before.
difficulty.
Upon defeating the Lord Bearer, players can expect to receive special and incredibly attractive items, including the season's new precious item, Unifying Wedge, which can be used to restore divinity slates.
So we're gonna get into the new system, the Divinity Sledge system. From what I can understand, this is basically
The
kind of a
divinity slate I mentioned
Tetris you
earlier
do with different pieces. So each of these pieces that you try to accommodate into this figure will have different effects, different stats. So there will be one here with +1 minions, +1 minion levels with increased damage against certain type of enemies.
plays a
So
crucial role in the
this
statue of the new
reminds
god
me of
system
the
in this new season.
last
The new
Epoch
god
system.
bestowed upon hunters a fresh talent panel,
I don't know
statue
if
of
it
the new
was
god.
Glyph or
Unlike
I don't
previous
remember
talent
what the name
panels,
is, but
hunters
it's
can
kind
now
of a
combine and
you
place
do a
multiple
Tetris
divinity
and you
slates
try to
on the
accommodate
statue of the
as
new
many
god,
of these
granting them potent buffs. Each divinity
you
slate
can
is
to get
associated with a
good stuff.
specific god and can hold up to 2 random talent affixes related to that god. This allows hunters to tap into the power of the 6 gods with affixes.
For instance, this is very good, right? Crit rating, seal mana reduction. This is a small one, right? This is a very big bonus. So, I suppose we're getting a very, very high power crypt this season with this type of item.
Related to that god. This allows hunters to tap into the power of the 6 gods without being constrained by the differences among the gods. Hunters can also enhance divinity slates through a unique branding method. However, once branded, these divinity slates become untradeable. Each successful branding either adds a new affix or upgrades an existing one. During the enhancement process, there's a slim chance of converting an upgraded powerful affix into the new god's exclusive talent affix, known as the Divine Entropy. Divine Entropy grants hunters the ability to control the order and chaos. Keep in mind though, each divinity slate can only be branded a limited number of times, making it more challenging to acquire Divine Entropy. Unwanted divinity slate can be broken down into divinity fragments, which can either be crafted into new random divinity slates or traded freely. The new god has also granted hunters access to new legendary divinity slates. These powerful slates come with Divine Entropy, amplify the effects of the order and chaos, and even enable hunters to consume the power of the 6 gods for even more powerful buffs.
Yeah, that will be very interesting, but we don't get a lot of information on how the system will work here. I suppose there's something that they are still fine-tuning the numbers, so I guess we'll have to see on release how this one goes.
Having covered
So we're getting the new Thea version, and we're getting a new hero, which is Bing. I'm gonna do separate videos on both of these because I think the trailer is really good, but what I want to see is their abilities in depth. So we'll skip this one for now. Just you know that there are new heroes, and I think after the new heroes.
Tests the overall performance of the
Okay, so
blessings of the
this
six
part
gods
is
on you
very
will reduce
interesting.
in power scale based on the number of blessings devoured. Thus, hunters using this piece of gear will need to strategize mutually exclusive buffs.
The new items. So let's take a look at these two new items.
To manually activate it together in a lightning grid to inflict damage.
And there are a lot of
dealing damage
new
based on the
skills as
hunter's
well.
weapon damage to enemies with low.
So you save someone? Calm down, old man. Check out the fireworks. If we don't blow up this broken world, how can we create a new one?
Okay, so this guy Bing is kind of if you've played Path of Exile, he's like a miner, and Thea kind of does an
The
ebb
overall
and flow of the blessings. As so we're gonna do a video later. So let's get into the new skills. Yeah, this is the part.
And
So
this
first,
the new skills added are mainly sentry.
so we have this is interesting, right? There, Sentry has gone fairly unsupported for a long part of the beta. So they're fixing that. They're adding. So this is a melee. So this is a melee kind of a shadow strike sentry. This one is a ranged sentry that this one has synergy with multi strike, so it'll be very interesting with the cat lady. This one is a ranged sentry, so you know you've got Carino and Divine Shot. This is a spell casting sentry that casts kind of like a Thunder Surge. So it's a small AoE unit, a small AoE skill, lightning skill. And this is kind of a projectile spellcaster sentry. So let's take a look
followed by
at
one
how
shadow strike
they
skill
look.
and one summon skill. Thunder Spike is a
And
fresh
we also
shadow
have
strike
new
skill.
minions.
When you land a critical strike with Thunder Spike, you're guaranteed to inflict shock on enemies with a certain area. If the shadows of Thunder Spikes cause a critical strike on shocked enemies, shock damage is applied one additional time to those hit by the shadows. With a high critical strike rating and numerous shadows, this skill can efficiently inflict shock on enemies within range and apply shock damage. This makes Thunder Spike a standout skill for clearing maps or battling tough enemies.
You know, I don't really like this type of skills. They feel rather clunky to me. But maybe we get different ways to support it this time around.
Ghost Blade Inheriar, the sentry skill. Ghost Blade Inheriar summons a dagger-wielding Inheriar that targets and attacks one nearby enemy, dealing damage based on the hunter's weapon damage. Its unique feature is that it inherits the hunter's multi-strike chance bonuses. When Ghost Blade Inheriar performs the final blow of a multi-strike, it triggers a violent explosion at the target and gains additional damage bonus based on the multi-strike chance. Furthermore, for each additional projectile quantity, Ghost Blade Inheriar targets one more nearby enemy. This allows hunters to adjust Ghost Blade Inheriar's rapid clearing ability according to their specific needs.
Okay, so that one seems very interesting. So you can scale projectile quantity, and that would increase the targets that the sentry will choose, and it inherits your multi-strike chance. So it'll be very interesting to build around.
Summons an Inheriar armed with bow and arrows. It fires 3 arrows into the sky, dealing area damage based on the hunter's weapon damage upon landing. Arrow Inheriar's arrows can deal damage to the same enemy when they land. This means that when multiple Inheriar are present on the battlefield simultaneously, they can carpet bomb enemies in a vast area and inflict massive damage on a single target. It's important to note that Arrow Inheriar's damage increases over time. So when facing tough enemies, avoid hastily summoning new Inheriar, as this could remove your initial Arrow Inheriar and actually reduce your damage. Thunder.
So what I understand about this one is that it's kind of your way to circumventing the lack of shotgun ability of, for instance, Carino, because the sentry is launching the projectile skills to the air, and they're falling similar to Rain of Arrows. So that makes me think that every single projectile will be able to hit the enemy multiple times. So if you scale multiple projectiles and you also scale the number of sentries, you could probably get a lot of single target damage with this skill.
Core is a lightning spell sentry that periodically unleashes several Thunder Strikes at nearby enemies, dealing area damage. The number of Thunder Strikes released by Thunder Core benefits from the jump bonus, chaining enemies together in a lightning grid to inflict damage over a large area. When targeting a single enemy, Thunder Core concentrates all its Thunder Strikes on that enemy. I hope Thunder Core will offer robust firepower support for hunters in all situations.
So this one seems interesting because it looks like it has the inherited ability to chain similar to the Ring of Ice, but it kind of surges when fighting a single target. So this will be I will have to test this one.
Frost Core is a unique code spell sentry that fires spiral projectiles, bouncing between enemies as they strike. What sets Frost Core apart is its ability to extract frostbite rating from enemies, significantly increasing the damage dealt by each hit. However, if a hunter plays too many Frost Cores, excessive frostbite rating will be consumed after just one volley of attacks. As a result, it's essential to effectively increase enemies' frostbite rating and balance the consumption of Frost Core, thus maximizing its benefits.
Seems very interesting, especially because there are not a lot of skills that can benefit from applying very high levels of frostbite. I can think right now of only the Frost Terra, which scales. It gets a multiplicative damage based on number of frostbites on the enemy. And that kind of set the Frostbeating Heart Gemma very far apart from any other hero. I mean, she's not bad by any means, right? She's not the worst, she's not Yoga. But the fact that her whole thing is scaling frostbite, she doesn't seem to gain as much damage from the frostbite scaling as any other unit. And there are not a lot of skills that actually benefit from scaling high levels of frostbite, made it kind of pointless. So this will be very interesting, a very interesting skill to build with Frostbeating Heart Gemma.
Green Phantom is a new synthetic troop summon skill. Green Phantom attacks targets with beam skills, and its beam skills become more potent as hunters grow stronger. Every few beam attacks, the next beam will cover a wider range and deal higher damage. Unlike other synthetic troop skills, when using a Summer Green Phantom skill, there's no need to manually activate it. The Green Phantom is automatically summoned periodically until the upper limit is reached. When hunters actively use the skill, they promote all Green Phantoms to instantly move to the target location and fire their destructive light cannon at the target, dealing high burst damage.
So that seems very cool. It's another caster minion. You know, right now there are, I think, only two options for minions for Moto, which are the spiders and the golems. It will be interesting to see how much HP these ones have and how good they will be with exploiting Moto as well.
We have prepared 13 new pieces of
Okay, so this one, attack and cast speed, elemental damage, gains fervor after devouring. I'm not sure what devouring is.
In the cube of Rapacity season. Today, I will introduce two pieces of legendary gear that have powers granted by the new god. The legendary belt, Law of the...
So let's look at this one before. So erosion res, very good armor, point of order, golden recording speed at having at least 76 order.
I will introduce two pieces of legendary gear that have powers granted by the new god. The legendary belt, Law of the Supreme Will, has order and chaos buffs, which are a pair of mutually exclusive buffs provided by the new god. It causes the wearer to lose order and gain chaos. This legendary gear increases cooldown recovery speed and movement speed when you have a high amount of order. To utilize this gear effectively, focus on defeating enemies before your order runs out. The key to this is to kill enemies quickly before losing all of your orders. The other legendary gear is called Breaking the Eternal Wrist. When equipping this gear, the blessings of the 6 gods bring unavoidable debuffs due to the going against the will of the gods effect. However, this pair of gloves also grants you the power to devour the power of the gods. Every 4 seconds, you'll devour all blessings of the 6 gods on you and release an empowered skill based on the number of blessings devoured. Thus, hunters using this piece of gear will need to strategize ways to deal with the negative effects while obtaining unique and powerful buffs.
Okay, if it's blessings, assuming it's the regular blessings, this will be an insane item on Thea. It'll be interesting to look at.
Relics and hero traits are closely...
So new relics. So for Frostbeating Heart, we're getting reduces the target's frostbite rating by 10% on hit. Attack and spell inflict 9 flat cold damage for 2 seconds. For every point of frostbite, up to 300 cold damage. This is a memory. I don't know. If this can be multiplied, then it's good.
Related to one another. There are numerous legendary hero relics and legendary hero memories to choose from in the new season, which creates more build possibilities. In previous tests, the overall performance of the spell system was relatively weak, making it especially challenging to transition and progress smoothly in the mid-game. For this reason, we have designed Spell Burst, a new developed system for
Automatically cast the spell. So let's look at this. What is this?
transition and progress smoothly in the mid-game. For this reason,
Psychic Burst, gear requirement level 65, cast interval. So this is a support skill, it seems. Yeah. So this is kind of the new interface for skills. Additional damage for skill cast by Spell Burst when Spell Burst is activated by the support skill, and reduces your cast speed.
we have designed Spell Burst, a new developed
Certain number of times when Spell Burst is fully charged, the next spell skill cast will activate Spell Burst, which will consume all stacks charged and automatically cast the spell skill the same number of times. Skills that have a cooldown, summon sentry, cannot be activated. Okay. So this, for any Path of Exile players, this is kind of like Unleash. For any non-Path of Exile players, what this basically means is that you will be walking around, and this probably has a timer attached to it, like every 0.3 seconds you get a charge, and maybe it accumulates up to a maximum number of charges. I don't know, let's say 3. So whenever you cast the spell, you will cast that spell equal to the number of charges that you have. So you will cast it once, the cast animation plays, but then automatically you get 2 or 3 additional casts of that spell, basically bypassing to some extent the cast speed limitation and allowing you to have a more mobile playstyle, let's say.
system for spells. With Spell Burst, hunters can consume Spell Burst stacks when using or triggering channeled spell skills. Based on the number of Spell Burst stacks consumed, they can automatically cast multiple spell skills in a burst within a short period of time, allowing for easy semi-automatic spell casting. Spell Burst is a powerful development system for spells. It enables hunters to have a relaxed and smooth map clearing experience while also allowing them to move around nimbly avoid enemy damage. However, Spell Burst can only be consumed when it's at maximum stacks, so don't forget to upgrade the charge speed of Spell Burst when upgrading cast speed. We believe the addition of Spell Burst will bring
Okay, so Insight is
spells to
getting
prominence
more
this season.
stacks.
It's time for spells to reign supreme. Command is a new mechanic.
Okay, so considering, I think this will be good, but it will be interesting to see. Like, the numbers have to be really high for this to be better than doing castle channeling or custom crits. Because of the, moving while casting is like the best playstyle, basically. And so that's what happened basically last season, is that a lot of people developed these auto-bomber builds, the Thundercloud, Lexis build as well. So all of these builds that really just they could clear everything by just doing running simulations. So the numbers will have to be really good.
Mechanic designed for some of these builds, specifically addressing the monotony of using synthetic troop minions due to the lack of related attributes that can be developed. By adding command, we have introduced additional development paths for synthetic troop minions and significantly increased the damage.
Will grant minions 2% additional damage and a bigger tracking area. The lowest command is -100, while the highest is 100. When command is not 0, command will be returned every second until it becomes 0.
Dealt by synthetic troops. Since command will always drop down to 0 quickly, changing the combat rhythm on synthetic troop minions can be achieved by developing command. Hunters can choose to develop command in a stable manner to ensure it is always within a certain range, allowing synthetic troop minions to deal consistent damage. Alternatively, special development methods can be employed to gain a large amount of command in a short period of time, making synthetic troop minions attack wildly in an instant to deal massive burst damage. However, this approach may cause you to lose all of your command quickly after bursting. As a result, the key to defeating powerful enemies with an army of synthetic troops lies in learning how to effectively gain and maintain command. This new mechanic offers a more engaging and dynamic experience for hunters who prefer summoning builds.
Haven't played minions, so I cannot really comment a lot on how good this will be. It seems interesting. It reminds me of kind of the buffing playstyle that minions have in Last Epoch, which, well, I don't know if it's still that way. The last time I played it, I remember that it was a lot of, or even in Path of Exile, right? With when you're casting your offerings to increase the effectiveness in combat of minions. So this seems a little bit like that, but instead of being a separate skill, it's just a mechanic that you can use with the minions.
The new crafting system in Torchlight Infinite aims to retain the advantages of the previous system while addressing issues such as the lack of excitement and surprises during crafting. The new system consists of two components: prototype crafting and targeted processing. Prototype.
Okay, let's go back there a little bit. So, prototype production can lock up to 2 affixes on a piece of gear to re-randomize the gear into a piece of prototype gear with up to 4 fixed affixes. Prototype production makes it possible to retain advanced affixes on gear, but the plasticity of the original gear decreases each time it's crafted. Prototype production cannot be carried out on a piece of gear that has 0 plasticity. This means that gear drops with advanced affixes will become excellent crafting materials in the future, which will give hunters a richer treasure hunting experience than before. Okay, so this seems like what you would do whenever you drop a base that already has a legendary affix. You will do this and kind of lock that affix in place.
The new system consists of 2 components: prototype crafting and targeted processing. Prototype crafting allows hunters to lock up to 2 affixes on a piece of gear.
Okay. So yeah, this drops like that. It has this new stat.
And re-randomize it into a prototype gear with up to 4 fixed affixes. This process retains advanced affixes on gear.
Okay, so you lock 2 affixes, and the new 4 affixes that you will get will also become locked.
But the plasticity of the original gear decreases with each craft. Prototype crafting is not possible on gear with 0 plasticity. This method enhances the looting experience, turning gear drops with advanced affixes into valuable crafting materials, and making the crafting process more exciting. Targeted processing replaces.
I mean, gears with legendary affixes were already pretty valuable, so that this actually makes them insanely better than they were before. But one of the complaints that a lot of people had with the crafting systems is that at some point, with the amount of drops of materials, embers and the purple crystals, the purple fuel, it was pretty much trivial to create perfect items. Like it wasn't a matter of if I would ever be able to do it. It's just a matter of just farm, just farm for a little while, and you'll eventually have a full set of perfect items. So I'm wondering if this system will make that difficult without making the crafting process frustrating, which is a very delicate balance to hit, right? Because for me, Path of Exile's crafting system is frustrating because there's not much control by the player. So it seems that we still have a bit of control, but we shall see.
This is the old crafting method. While hunters can still use Amber to craft desired affixes, they no longer have the option to save or revert affixes when crafting a single affix. Instead, they can pay a certain cost to revert the gear to its initial states before target processing. It is recommended that hunters use prototype crafting to create good prototypes.
Okay, so let's go a little bit slower on this. So for instance, we have this mystery processing. So we have tenacity blessing per stacks. It seems it will add a suffix, but this item already has 3 suffixes. So these seems to be the options that can be added, and these seems to be options that cannot, or I don't know what this means, right? The color coding here. Okay, so barrage skill wave interval is already here, so it probably cannot add it. Gear attack speed. Okay, it has critical, so this is this. And this is the other affixes that could be
affixes
here.
when crafting a single affix. Instead, they can pay a certain cost.
Okay, so basically you're doing a reforge. So you're switching from this to this, but you cannot go back.
To revert the gear to its inner
Oh, this is going too fast, sorry.
affixes when crafting a single affix. Instead, they can pay a certain cost to revert the gear to
Reshaping will remove all affixes added by directional processing on the equipment. Are you sure you want to reshape?
its initial states before
Okay, so you go back. You still go back, but you have to pay for it. It's no longer free.
target processing. It is recommended that
Okay,
a
sorry,
certain
it's going
cost
too
to revert
fast.
the gear to its initial states before
Let me put this on normal speed because this is kind of important here.
target processing. It is recommended
So there. This item has 2 lock properties, and basically they are randomizing the rest of the item, but the 2 properties remain.
recommended that hunters use prototype crafting to create good prototype gear and then use target processing to craft other affixes. This combination makes obtaining powerful gear easier than before, but crafting the best gear becomes more challenging and strategic, enhancing the overall crafting experience for players.
I mean, it seems to me that it will still be a matter of when rather than if I will be able to create a perfect piece of gear. I'll have to play with the system a little bit, but it doesn't seem to me that it became significantly more difficult to do it. Maybe it requires more grinding, and it's a matter of time rather than actually being difficult to make.
Torchlight Infinite is constantly working on game balance adjustments and optimizations based on player feedback and testing. In the new season, many targeted improvements have been made to hero traits, skills, talents, and gear, with a special focus on legendary gear. More detailed information on these changes will be provided in a season update announcement in the community. Continual updates and optimizations are being made to enhance various aspects of the game. Some examples include single hit damage limit can now exceed 2.1 billion. Netherrealm map affix customization, skilled effect transparency adjustments, auto channel for skills and other switch features, advanced search in the trade house including searching for the repeated affixes, Path of the Brave improvements, addressing issues like the inability to pick up reverse after dying, pack spirits build configurations. These ongoing optimizations aim to provide players with a better gaming experience and ensure that the game continues to evolve and improving over time.
Okay, let's look at a few of these pointers because I see some interesting thing here. We've added a feature to save and switch. Okay, this is great. This is great because, for instance, I wanted to sometimes have a configuration for pack spirit for farming. So I would 90% of the time use drop pack spirits and just drop passives. But when I was switched to doing the big bosses, I wanted to increase my damage and my survivability. So it's very interesting to be able to do that easier. So this is probably removing the cap on the current cap of the dummy. I don't really love that the numbers are going this high already. Like 2.1 billion, it already seems excessive. It seems to be reaching D3 levels of insane numbers. I would prefer if they crunch it a little bit. It will no longer be necessary to click items to view the descriptions, as their detailed descriptions will not appear directly when the mouse hovers over the icon of an item in the inventory surface or the drop frame. Okay, this is very nice. So whenever you drop anything that is identified, you can just hover over it without having to pick it up and then look at it and then decide if it's trash or not. 90% of the time it is. Okay, I don't know what this would mean.
Auto channel for skills and other switch features.
Controller was already very nice to play with. It was just missing a little bit of interaction with certain interface items, but it will be interesting to see how much they will improve it. It was already very, very nice Like it probably became my favorite way to play because ARPGs tend to make you develop a little bit of wrist strain and wrist pain. So this is a very nice way to deal with that.
Path of the Brave improvements, addressing issues like the inability to pick up rebirths after dying.
Being able
Packed
to
spirits
see
build
more
configurations. These
character
ongoing
information in the leaderboards and stuff for when you're trying to share builds is more it's way easier this way. Advanced search in the trade house very good. They mentioned that they will be adding a kind of a featured build for people who just started in game. So this is kind of a build that they will be making that is guaranteed to at least take you to, I don't know, T5, T6 probably.
Aim to provide players with a better gaming experience and ensure that the game continues to evolve.
Okay, so hero traits will be unlocked differently. So it's probably kind of a side quest thing. I mean, it sounds interesting. And the Rift, Void Rift. Is that related to the Pirates of the Void Sea content? Probably.
Time. In the new Cube of Rapacity season, there will be a variety of new pack spirits with different appearances released, including a season gameplay exclusive drop pad, a general drop pad, and 2 battle pads. Drop pads will help increase looting efficiency, while battle pads will assist players when they hit growth bottlenecks. A variety of new outfits will also be released in the new season, with some being sold directly and others being released in boon events. Keep an eye on game announcements and boon events to discover more about these appearances. We're looking forward to seeing you guys in the new season.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for the announcement trailer. It has been a kind of a long video, but overall, I think it looks pretty good. I'm very, very excited to start playing with it as soon as it launches. So this will be out on the 5th of May. I will be league starting. I don't know what I will be league starting yet. I need to look at the new heroes, and it will probably be one of those, honestly. But anyway, if you have any thoughts, if you think I missed something, and if you wanted to discuss a little bit of the new mechanics, feel free to leave any of the comments below, or you can add me in the official Discord. Anyway, have a good one.